Antony and we're from University High School in Irvine, California. And today we will be speaking on the topic of carbon emissions. A long-term problem, carbon emissions are being released at alarming rates in many countries. According to the United Nations Statistics Division, the U.S. alone releases an average of 5,433,057,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide into our atmosphere annually. That is equivalent to 30 billion blue whales. Since the Industrial Revolution in the 1800s, atmospheric carbon dioxide has increased nearly 30%. Naturally, carbon sinks absorb much of the excess carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. But due to global warming and deforestation, it has reduced carbon sequestration. Oceans absorb about 30% of the human excess carbon emissions in the atmosphere. But the process reverses as the water is heated, therefore it releases carbon back into the atmosphere. According to NCSU, a healthy tree lowers air temperature by blocking sunlight and absorbs about 13 pounds of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere annually and creates a day's supply of oxygen for 4 people. Deforestation can eliminate the possibility for plants and trees to absorb carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So by cutting down these trees, we can reduce the carbon emissions in the atmosphere. As our world warms, the biosphere is heavily affected and becomes less stable. Effects from these excess carbon emissions include coral reefs, bleaching, and ice cap melting. Polar bears in the Antarctic are already suffering from the land ice melt. According to U.S. News, hungry polar bears are unable to sustain themselves, have traveled inland to towns such as Norway, Alaska, and Churchill, Manitoba. Baby penguins in the Antarctic may freeze to death in the rain. And land ice melting also raises sea level, which may cause coastal flooding in many low-lying coastal countries. Efforts have been made to avoid these consequences by finding new ways to reduce energy. Alternative energy resources to fossil fuels include wind power, solar power, hydroelectric power, geothermal power, and nuclear power. Wind power is not constant because it relies on the climate and it requires large wind farms to provide energy for entire towns. Geopower stations cannot be constructed everywhere, and steams may run out, rendering them useless possibly for decades. Hydroelectric dams have limited lifetimes, and due to river deposition, in which rivers will be filled with sediments. An example of this, according to Pearson's Earth Science textbook, it is estimated that Egypt's Aswan high dams will be half filled by 2025. Dams are extremely expensive to be built, and they are at constant risk of flooding. Nuclear power processes can produce nuclear waste that is radioactive, and nuclear power plants constantly face the threat of nuclear meltdowns and expiration dates, which they must be dismantled. Granting all this, none of the alternative energy resources can promise of economical, social, environmental sustainability. As mentioned before, natural carbon sinks extract large amounts of carbon dioxide from our atmosphere as a way to regulate carbon emissions. To much disappointment, these carbon sinks are losing their effect as a result of deforestation and the ocean's reversal of its carbon absorbing processes. If this continues, it could be devastating to our Earth. Many people are working on projects in the field of carbon capture and sequestration. Dr. Klaus Lackner is the director of the Landis Center for Sustainable Energy at the Earth Institute at the University of Columbia. According to an interview with Live TV, he discussed his carbon capture project, which is an artificial tree made of a special plastic that absorbs carbon dioxide by 5 and releases it with noise. According to Phys.org, Britain's Institute of Mechanical Engineers proposed to build
forest of synthetic trees, each of which has the capability to absorb up to 10 tons of carbon daily. These trees will be made of special synthetic filters that will absorb the carbon dioxide. And once a filter is full, it can be switched out with a new one. And the old filter would then be stored in an empty oil or gas container.
The main concern for these products is how they can be manufactured and produced inexpensively in satisfactory amounts. According to National Geographic, Dr. Claude Wagner estimates that he and his team's processes can cost as little as $30 to capture 1 ton of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Hopefully, these cost-effective products can promise to reduce the excessive carbon dioxide in the atmosphere.
Although many are currently in prototype stages, artificial carbon sinks may be the solution to regulating carbon emissions in the future.
Thank you.